Yo, what's up, everybody? It is Tuesday, April 1st, April Fool's Day. Tomorrow is the big tariff day. What do they call it? Liberation Day. To tell you the truth, I'm not paying attention to this crap anymore. I just think it's gotten to the level of freaking hysteria. This is another one of these environments now, like when the Fed is going to change policy, that everybody's like freaking falling all over themselves, going nuts, hyperventilating, such a bunch of garbage. I'm just focused on the fiscal flows. That's it. The tariffs are meaningless. They're BS. Actually, if it works out the way Trump is thinking, and this is, big picture, longer term, where the tariffs encourage the foreign sector to be the net spender, okay? Because we've been in this paradigm with the U.S. is the net spender, basically the U.S. government running deficits. This goes all the way back to the 80s, all right? Like we're talking over 40 years, 45 years of this. If the tariffs encourage or trigger more foreign sector net spending, then he's going to come out of this looking like some kind of genius, man. But I mean, that's the big picture. That's the macro. That's not going to happen tomorrow. That's not going to happen next week. That's not going to happen next month. We might see incremental progress towards that. We might see incremental little movements in the data, to alert us to the fact that maybe it's starting to trend in that direction. I'm not paying attention to this stupid crap anymore. I mean, it's like people are freaking hysterical. They're freaking hysterical. I mean, if it's not tariffs, then it's the Fed. If it's not the Fed, then it's, the inverted yield curve or some other bullshit that is meaningless. I mean, when the government is spending $7 trillion plus, here's what matters, and it's the stuff that I've been telling you about. I mean, we got to get the debt ceiling raised because we have a situation, which I've been explaining to you over and over again with the bilge pump analysis. We have a situation where the debt ceiling is precluding the normal operation and function of the system, meaning that, Treasury debt sales are there to train reserves. You've got a regulatory structure in place, which when you have a condition where reserves are building up and building up and building up, you're flooding the boat, and then you don't have the bilge pump. So we just need to get the debt ceiling raised. Look, if I see a slowdown in the fiscal flows, if I see some kind of contraction, if that starts to happen, I'll be the first one to tell you, because that's what I look at every single day. But I'm sick and tired of this tariff crap. I really am. It's not going to do anything. And you got all these big shots out there. By the way, you see what's happening with the 10-year Treasury, the benchmark Treasury. It's coming down. Today it hit 413. I had some of you on here with the sarcastic comments not too long ago. Hey, Mike, how's that bond trade of yours doing? Really well. Really well. Okay? Since the bond yield peaked out at 480, the performance of the 10-year has been better than gold, all right? So, I mean, mock me all you want, but, my call was exactly correct. And I'm telling you right now, I'm done with this tariff crap. If I see evidence of a slowdown or a contraction, a decline in net government transfers, then I'll change, I'll reconsider my strategy here. Well, not for the treasuries. That would just make it even more valid. So I'm not playing along with this, and I'm an outsider observing the hysteria. That's all anybody's talking about. Tariffs this, tariffs that. You know, I take a big picture view. I take a macro view. I follow the fiscal flows because that, like I always say, that is the core of everything else. The first derivative of all economic activity. All right? That's the core. Everything else flows off of that. Bank credit, personal consumption, expenditures, business investment, trade flows, all of that. It all flows off of that. Now, if we get into a system where the foreign sector starts to contribute more, then I got to take that into account. Okay? You got China already saying or thinking about maybe devaluing the yuan to offset the tariffs or whatever. So, I mean, I told you that China is a deflationary black hole, and it's going to end up exporting that deflation. So I'm not looking at it anymore. Just like I tell you guys, every Fed meeting, I don't even pay attention. You know, as a courtesy to my subscribers, I might send out an alert. Hey, don't forget there's going to be a Fed meeting today. Blah, blah, blah. Maybe, you know, Powell said this or he said that. But I don't ascribe any particularly important meaning to it because I told you that I understand what the change in interest rates, whether that's up or down, what that is. Okay? All that is a price adjustment and a fiscal operation. Price adjustment either up or down. If they raise rates, it's a price adjustment up. If they cut rates, it's a price adjustment down. And it's a fiscal operation because if they raise rates, it increases interest income transfers to the government, to the non-government, to the economy. If they cut rates, the opposite. It removes interest income transfers. Same thing with like this stupid, you know, everybody now is talking about the Fed. The Fed has slowed or ended its balance sheet reduction. And they think that's a stimulus. If you go back 3 years ago, when they were hyperventilating and going hysterical and crazy and nuts, all of these same people, when they were going freaking nuts because the Fed was going to start reducing its balance sheet, and they were like, oh my God, that's going to be it. That's going to be a collapse. That's going to be a massive recession, worse than the GFC, the Great Financial Crash. I said, no, that's going to be positive. Because instead of sucking up all those treasuries for itself, okay, which the Treasury then pays the Fed interest, which the Fed then gives it back to the Treasury like a cockamamie, ridiculous structure there, it was leaving those securities in the economy to earn the interest. That was going to be positive. Yet all of these geniuses were saying, oh my God, it's going to be a crash. It's going to be the worst thing in the world. Horrible, terrible thing. And now it's like, oh, look, they stopped their reduction in the balance sheet. That's stimulus. No, it's the opposite. Okay? Instead of leaving those, instead of allowing those securities to roll off into the economy, they stopped that now. It's not a stimulus. So they have it all wrong. So I just sit back and I watch this crap and I'm like, you know what? You just gotta, it's like you gotta chill. It's like a Zen kind of thing. Calm, man. Slow everything down and have an understanding. Slow everything down and have an understanding. Okay? Some guy comments, fiscal this and fiscal that, it's all meaningless. To that guy, yeah, it's meaningless because, I mean, look, we're talking to the internet here, folks. It's not exactly, a high level of intellect. I know many of you are there, but a lot of these comments, if I was you, guy, whoever, I would refrain. I'm politely offering you some advice to refrain because it just sounds silly, okay? Just trade. Just trade. Forget about fiscal this and fiscal that. Just trade. You sound like some maniac gambler who can't, control yourself. You know what I'm saying? So if you have an understanding and you chill and you just, you look at it from 30,000 feet, get some perspective. It's not like every day there's something that needs to be done. Okay? And believe me, this whole gold thing, I've been telling you, back in 2022, I was pounding the table on gold. I said, this is the smallest short position by gold producers that I have seen. I think it was in 20 years or something like that. I was saying that almost every video. Who was buying gold back then? Now, all of a sudden, so I was in it in 2022. And right now, it's nonsensical. Because all that gold is going to be leased out. Believe me, because it has to be. That's how central banks earn income. They lease it out. Anyway, it's kind of late right now, so I'm going to wrap it up. Please like and subscribe. Tomorrow's Liberation Day. Hey. It's hilarious, man. I mean, you just gotta laugh. All right, please like and subscribe, folks. And don't forget, go to my website, pitbulleconomics.com. Sign up for a 30-day free trial to my report, MMT Trader. Bye.